So, with the Space Shuttle Challenger and all the incidents that led to the ultimate explosion and killing of all those people, um, the article is very interesting, 7-page one we had to read, but I think things that NASA could have done differently, especially at the time, because I feel like we've kind of overcome the problems that we had at that time, but I think one of the big problems at the time was the rush. We were racing everybody, things that had never been really done before. It was just, just a matter of time until an incident happened, and it just so happened to kill the entire crew on the Challenger. They had never sent off a rocket in temperatures lower than 50 degrees, is what it said in the article, and it was super cold. Overnight, it went down to 8 degrees, and so they feared that that could cause some complications because they'd never done it before. And that man, Roger, the second question talks about him and some other engineers advised against, like, hey, we need to not do this right now. We need to wait some time because we've never done this before, and we don't want to endanger the lives of the crew, or this rocket may not work. And I think that what he did was fine. Like, I think that he did the best he could to discourage those above him that they need to not fire off the rocket, but you can't, he's not in charge. And I think from what I understand from the article, I tried to understand the best I could. I think that he still went along with it, but he discouraged it. I think that he should have discouraged it even more, like so much that maybe even leave the project if possible. But that is a big deal. He would have probably lost his job and everything. And as it says, he could have not found another job. So it's kind of an ethical dilemma, moral questions of, does he leave behind everything that he's worked so hard to get, or does he stick with it and just wait out the consequences? And because of that, people did die, but I do not blame him for that, because he really did try to discourage the sending off of the rocket so that no one was endangered. So I think that he did the best that he really could in the situation. And what I do as an engineer, I'm not an engineer, but if I were, I would definitely do all the safety checks. If you've seen the movie Martian, they really talk about that, because they send off a couple rockets to go and save Matt Damon. And they have to rush, and so I think they even have to skip a couple tests at the end, which is kind of a big no-no, but things ended up working out anyways. But it's because they had that limited window to do something. And yeah, that's what I would do. I would definitely test everything so that no one dies in the sending off of the rockets, because that just kind of makes it, if things like that happen more regularly, it would almost make space travel like impossible. Like, they might have regulations where people couldn't travel to space if people were dying all the time. So that's why tests are important.